Hello everybody. So this is endless. The manipulation never stops. We are at 105. After the most boring weekend trading at 110 all weekend, all 48 hours, we open at 105,600 as I speak. The nonsense is total because the market conditions, in my view, are so bullish for crypto right now. I can't even take it. Liquidity is coming. QE is coming in December. We get the rate cuts. We got the China trade deal. The only way I can explain this nonsense is just the DEX platforms and the crazy leverage. And you may have seen this one over the weekend on X, a bunch of advertising, 200 times leverage, right? And it's people who want to make $20,000 with $100, and of course the exchanges just go ahead and take their money and liquidate the shorts, and this is what keeps happening, and that's why we are sitting at 105. That doesn't stop Saylor from buying more, so we're going to talk about strategy, but just keep in mind that if Bitcoin is crashing, there's nothing strategy can do. Strategy is a story that is linked to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's not doing well, strategy is never going to do well. And who thought we'd be at 105K on November 3rd, 2025? Honestly, who thought that? Very, very few people thought we would be this low at this time of the year. In fact, everybody was predicting 150 or 130 at this point. So it's complete nonsense, but strategy is doing better than Bitcoin today. It's only down 3.4% when the IBIT ETF, again, same market hours, that's why I use IBIT, is down 3.6%. So on a day where Bitcoin is doing really bad, strategy is actually performing better. And so what that tells me is that the actual stock market may be sensing a little bit of a disconnect, a little bit of an inaccurate price going on in the crypto market, in the DEX market. Whatever price you see on crypto exchanges may be a little bit manipulated, and you may be having a little bit of a hard time actually acquiring any meaningful amount of Bitcoin at 105 right now. And the reason why I said that is because I see Saylor acquired 397 Bitcoin. His average was 114,700. So when you're actually trying to acquire hundreds of Bitcoin, can you actually get it at 105, right? That's kind of a big question, and that's why I see the strategy put is kind of perhaps going to be reflected in the premium on the stock, which is if you were to try to buy 600,000 Bitcoin, could you get it at 105? No way, because you would make the price go up. So maybe there is a disconnect over short term on the price. It makes very little sense. Anyways, let's talk about the buy strategies. Buy today. Okay. So he bought 495. That was last week. He bought that. Important point to note is that the MSTR ATM is back. The common ATM back on the common. And so why did he do that? Well, a minor reason could be that the MNAV slightly rebounded. If you look, we're at 1.23, we're at 1.17. I think the bigger reason, and of course the basic MNAV is 1.33, still pretty darn low, but a little better than it used to be. Another reason could be simply that he needed to do return of capital profits for a stretch payment, and of course it's a monthly dividend, right? So it's possible that he raised the funds in order to create return of capital dividends, and so when you sell equity, you create return of capital. So that could be one of the reasons. Either way, it's not too upsetting in any way because it's only $54 million. So for the size of that company, not much of an ATM. These buys over the past month, they haven't done much. They haven't accounted to too much. We're still waiting on stretch to break 100. And if Bitcoin is at 105, it can't happen, right? Stretch is going to have a harder time as long as Bitcoin is dropping. That's just the point. More bullish news today. So the first one, of course, is yesterday's interview of the President of the United States talking about the U.S. is going to be number one in crypto and putting crypto forward, and talking about how China apparently is doing something in crypto too. Does Trump know something we don't know about China? Does he know something we don't know about China? Right? He has access to better information, and he's saying that China is doing something with crypto. So I think it's somewhat more interesting than meaningful information. It's more interesting because it's not the first time that he said that the US is going to be number one in that space. I think a more bullish news, though, is the launch of a preferred via Strive. Strive being one of the fallen former heroes of the bull market of April and May for Bitcoin. One of the fallen stocks is launching a preferred. Why is that meaningful? Because if we see a lot of companies who start launching preferred, then that kind of validates the thesis of Saylor with the preferred, creates a lot of interest in the preferred, and you're really creating that Bitcoin credit and Bitcoin yield curve that Saylor keeps talking about. So the fact that other companies are doing preferred, I think, is a big development over the longer run for strategy. The stock is doing well. The strategy is doing well. What's not doing well is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not doing well, and as long as Bitcoin is not doing well, we're not going to get outperformance. And so, in my view, this is a time to accumulate. In my view, but nobody really knows what's going to happen. So, disappointed in Bitcoin today. Disappointed in Bitcoin, not necessarily disappointed in strategy. So, anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. Only entertainment. Hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe. Follow me on Patreon. Follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.